Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today we're going to talk about how big or small are my balls. Of course, we breed ball pythons, so if you're wondering what kind of channel you stumbled upon, that would be the channel. Nothing nefarious here, just our snakes. So how big my snake is, or how small it is. I'll stop now. They're bad. I know, they're terrible. And then we're going to go over to Patreon. We'll kind of discuss a little bit more about breeding sizes, some of our beliefs on breeding sizes, some of our beliefs on breeding a snake that maybe isn't to weight yet, what we look for to do that, or just kind of how we pick what we breed, you know, beyond just the general 1,500 and 600 gram rule. For those of you that don't know that rule, 1,500 grams is typically the size you'll start breeding a female, and 600 grams is typically the size you'll start using a male. Now, there is some room for change, and we'll explain that over on Patreon. But today, we're just going to show a lot of snakes and weigh them. So let's start, because it's always fun to start with big balls. We're going to start with what I think are my biggest balls, and I'm going to show you a very large male ball python. Yes, it is a male. Yes, it's a proven male. Yes, it's a breeder male. Trust me, this guy is a male. Kapow! Look at that. So let's turn on the scale. Again, thank you to the Hef family for providing our really kick-ass scale. I do truly appreciate it. We're going to try to get him to go and halfway sit in this tub. In the tub. It puts the lotion in its skin, on its skin, or else it gets the tub again. There we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. You don't want to cooperate. When Matt should have got a bigger tub. We're going to be over 3, I can tell you that. So 3,161. 191. I'm upside down. So 3,190, almost 3,200 grams. That is a big, big male. So we will go ahead while I've got him out. We'll go ahead and put him here. There you go, buddy. He's got work to do today. Go get it. Go in there. Come on. You don't like her? I like her. If you won't do it, I will. No, I won't. That would be weird. And illegal, I think, in all like the 3 states. I'm looking at you, West Virginia. So anyway, that is probably our largest male. Let's show you what I think may be one of our largest females. That is this girl right here. Now, she is an extremely big snake. Oh my goodness gracious. She is going into ovulation right now, so we'll try to do this as gently as we can. I'm getting to 3680, so 3,680 grams. That is a big, big girl. I'll show you what I'm talking about going into ovulation. You can kind of see that lump right there. She is definitely building towards it right there. So she is going to have babies for us. Hold on, y'all. I've got to make that buzzing stop. This is what happens when I put my phone on silent, but I forget to make it stop shaking. With all that rattling, I probably need to re-tear the scale. So we might have been off by 100 or so grams on that one. We'll see. So those are probably my 2 largest ball pythons. That being said, we have some other ones that are also very, very large. This is another girl who frequents the 3,000 gram club. And you can see right now, she's sitting at 3175. So she is definitely in that club as well. Most of our snakes are not weighing over 3,000 grams, but there are some that are. Now, so what is typical? Because it's really cool to see these big snakes, but everyone wants to look at my big snake. By the way, that clown, he does only have one eye. I don't know if you saw it on the camera. And his name is Trouser. So he is literally my one-eyed trouser snake. So when I pull out my big old one-eyed trouser snake, I know people go, well, what if my snake's not that big? And, you know, should I be worried or concerned? So let's talk about how big snakes should get with some age. And there's a lot of variance here. There's not really like your snake at this age to be this heavy. It doesn't necessarily work that way. There's a lot of factors at play. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you some ranges for some 2017s. This is a slow growing 2017. She is our super pastel lesser. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. She's going to be a little on the lighter side of the fence. She's setting at 1330. So she's not a real big girl for her age. And believe it or not, there's no spider in this, just super pastel and lesser. And she was still a slow grower. It's crazy how that works. We'll give you an example of another 17. Now this is a proven breeder female. So she has had babies for us before. Last year was her first year having babies. We'll throw her in there. And as you can see, she's a little bit bigger, setting at 1,800 grams, basically 1,798. So we're rocking and rolling a little more size there. And again, these are all 17s. But
so 17 is how old?
Well, this is 2021 when we filmed this video. That's right. 2020 is gone. Everybody say thank you. So we're looking at snakes that are approximately 4 years old. You know, maybe 3.5, maybe a little over 4. But 17 to 18 would be 1 year, to 19 to 20 to 21. So most of them are going into their second breeding year. A lot of them are. This is a really good sized. Oh my goodness. Ooh, 17. We'll put her in there. So one of our pastel xanthic females. And you can see she's sitting at 2168. Honestly, these 2,000 gram females, I mean, they're amazing for breeders. I really like snakes about this size. Closer back up, we've got her, oh, that's not her sister, I lied. We've got her sister here. One of these, and I can't remember which one off the top of my head, produced for us last year, one did not. So, and she's sitting there at right at 2,500. So you can see they're kind of both consistent, both in the same clutch, both about the same size. So 17's been a really good year for us, right? Put her back in there. So, but, we also have like this snake here. This is our female banana from 2017. This will be her first year breeding. So we'll see how big she is. And 1,700, right? So right there. So 17, you know, that's going into that 4th year for us. They should be breed size. That's what you really want. Obviously, we got one that's a little on the light side. And then we come over here because sometimes, and again, this is where, you know, maybe your snake's not growing like my trouser, right? This is also a 17. Now, this is a small 17. This was just tiny, tiny, tiny. And these are all females too, guys, because the males, it's a little bit different situation. And you can see she's only 1,016, and she's 4 years old. I almost should double check her and make sure she's a girl. Because believe it or not, I'm pretty good at sex and snakes, but even I get them wrong sometimes. But I'll show you. It is a female. See? They don't go back in. No peens. Got some scent glands. It's a little girl. Just a very light girl for her age. Has been a slow grower. Sometimes you got to take a little extra time for a snake you really like. So I'll put her back there. I got one more 17 I do want to show you. This will be a first year breeder for her. It just says pastel light. You have to take my word for it. She's a 17. This will kind of give you an idea of just what we're getting into. And she's almost 2,000 grams. So she is right there. Are you trying to get a little bit of skin off? You are. I can do that for you. It's a little bit of stuck shed right there on her neck. Let me get it. Let me get it. That makes sense. That's what she was after. Just a little bit. There, happy girl, huh? That's why you were in your water dish. Put her back in there. We have other 17s we could do this with, but let's move on to 18s. So now you're talking about snakes that are 3 years old. Typically, that's when you're looking to get into their first breeding season. But that doesn't always go as to plan either. Sometimes you get some snakes that are from 2018, in our case 3. They're already on, you know, not their first breeding season, but going into their second. This one isn't one. We did try to pair her last year, but it was at the end, and we did not produce. I do think we'll produce this year. And she has put on weight massively for an 18. So she's a year younger than those other snakes you just saw, and she's sitting there at 2,476. I said we tried to breed her last year. She hit weight during the season. We gave her a couple pairs, and that was about it. But she's going to be fine this year. So 2,400 grams, 3 years old. I mean, amazing. That's like what you really want to see for a snake. as far as growth rate goes. Let me see if I got any other 18s over here. I probably don't have that many 18s actually over here. Oh, I should. Where are some 18s, Kurt? Looking for 18s. 17s. Let me see over here. We will have more 18s over here. Because 18, also, y'all, these things were growing up in the year we moved. So that stunted a lot of my 18s a little bit because we gave them an extra stressor of moving, kind of pushing them back a year. So you got all these 18s that are sitting on the cusp. I would like to be breeding this snake right now, but she's going to get an extra year simply because of we stressed her out when we moved facilities, caused her to grow a little slower, and that's pushed a lot of my 18s back. Really won't be breeding until 2022. Kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. So with that in mind, I'll show you another one. And you'll see it's pretty consistent with that one exception that we're setting around, 1,200 grams on a lot of these, like between 1,000 and 1,200. And I just didn't want to push the envelope, not at 18. This is a really cool albino paradox. Lovely, lovely snake. Lovely, lovely snake. But then we get into 19. So let's talk about 2019. What would you expect for size? Truth be told, I would like my 18s right now to be around that 1,500 gram mark. Again, we're a little behind from that year. It is what it is. But, you can't win them all. I'm trying to see any more 18s hanging out over here. 16, 17, probably not. 17, a lot of 17s, which honestly makes total sense. So by next year, we'll have all the 18s over here by 2022. Usually it's 3 years. Well, let's look at some of the 19s. The 19s shouldn't be stunted as much. So we'll pull some of those out, give you an idea of how they're doing. Obviously, right now, I would like my 19s to be, in a perfect world, 1,000 grams would be awesome. Anything over about 650, I'm going to be pretty happy. We're mostly talking females today. This is a little scaleless head pin, 733. She's got a good chance to be ready by 2022 if she eats well, which is what we want, 3 years old and ready. If she's not, we'll wait on her. We'll pot a few other 19s. You kind of just got to see where that is. You also have things at 1,000 grams. They kind of do hit a wall sometimes, This little snake here is in shed, so forgive me a little bit. This is also a 19. And it's going to be one of my bigger 19s. And it's 1168. So I feel real strongly that this snake will be ready to breed in a season.
What is that?
This is a killer bee that's in shed. You can see its eyes are blue, pink belly. So super pastel spider. Also happens to be het xanthic. So again, we're going to be working things to make a lot of killer bee xanthic stuff, mixing fire in it, things like that. So, pretty neat stuff. Pull out another scaleless head from 19. I know, dude. Or girl, right? And this one's right at 1,002, 1,032. So again, we're setting right where we should be on our 19s. Our 19s, you're noticing a lot of our 19s are pretty close in size to a lot of our 18s. Again, I think that has to do with the move. It's just kind of part of one of those things that happen. This is a really pretty snake. I want to show you this one too. Woo! Angry little monkey. This is, I believe, a pastel lesser champagne. Just gorgeous. Also going to be right there at that 1,000 gram mark. So you're kind of just seeing boom, boom, boom. It's pretty consistent growth, which is what you want. That tells you you're doing good things, And of course, it gets better as we get our temperatures set. So now that things are set up really good. Or anyway, where did you come from? Now I gotta remember I took the snake out of. Where did you come? No. I just have to keep it out, Kurt. Maybe here. Whew! Found it. Let's talk about the 20s, because 20s are things we held back from this past breeding season. Now these are here. There's no stress from the move, no stress in the eggs. Everything should be going great. So what size should we be dealing with 20s? Well, it's kind of all over the map, right? So I'll show you some of my holdbacks for 2020. Really? And here, it's going to be very variable. Very variable. Because it depends on when they were born, how well they started, how size the baby was. They all kind of catch up. We're sitting at 254, 55, 57, something like that. What's going to happen is as the snake goes to bigger meals, it's going to grow exponentially faster. So I do expect this by next year to be sitting around that 1,000 gram mark. I know it sounds crazy, but it likely will. Isn't that thing cool? I love that snake. So, and you'll see that pretty consistently throughout with a lot of ours. Now, some of them are smaller than others. This is a great example. We still have some. They were born a little smaller, or they were born a little late, especially the ones that are for sale, that are getting up to size to even be able to sell. So this snake here is at 96 grams. We're not selling this one. I'll be honest, this one we're keeping. What you're looking at there is a pastel lesser krypton 100% Hetford Desert Ghost. Yeah, it's pretty badass. We know. But you can see it's just getting to the 100 gram mark. Her babies were very, very small. It was her first time having eggs. And it just took them a while to get size. We have to start on smaller meals and whatnot. I've had babies crawl out the egg, not much smaller than this. But she is doing wonderful. She doubled in size since she was born. What more could you ask for? So you can see the size is kind of all over the map. When you get to your males, they're not going to usually be as big. I know I showed you one of my biggest snakes as a male, but this is a 2013, we believe. It's not ours. Well, it's our snake. We didn't produce it, but this was when I purchased. We believe it was born in 2013. And so he's an adult. He's a pretty typical size male for us at that age for breed purposes. He's sitting at 1,500 grams. I'm not a subscriber to males get lazy when they get big. But this is kind of like what you're looking at for a very typically good-sized male. I mean, he does wonderful. You're going to crawl up and see me? There's bigger out there. There's smaller out there. But on a male this size, I feel pretty confident I can breed him pretty hard without much concern, especially if he starts getting meals in. He's going to go off food every year for a while. I don't have to worry about it too much. When I start dealing with a smaller male for breeding, I'll show you one. I do have to watch their food intake. This guy's food intake has slowed down. However, it hasn't stopped. This is a 2018 as well. But the 18s can already be ready to breed as males. 19s can be ready to breed as males. I wouldn't be breeding any 20s. But this guy here, nice and chunky, 800 grams. He's over the 600 gram mark. He's not lost weight. He's gained a little weight through breeding season. I got no qualms about throwing him to a female. But when you're running a young male like this, a little bit lighter in size, you do need to pay close attention to him. You can overbreed them. You can, if they're not eating, cause them to basically overwork, raise that metabolism, lose weight quicker, and possibly kill them or make it less chance of survival. I've done that. It sucks. You feel really bad. And so now we keep a closer eye. And if we have a male that we don't feel is doing so hot on that, we rotate him out of the breeding. And if he's got females bred, awesome. If he doesn't, shit happens. I'd rather keep the snake than push for a couple extra clutches. So that's kind of how that works. Kurt, do you have any questions about snake size?
No.
All right. Should people worry then if they look at their snake and it's not as big as one-eyed trouser over there? No, that is not typical for your male ball.
Oh, I do have a question.
Yay! I love those.
What is Southern
Did you forget?
South Herrera, or how do you pronounce it?
Sub-Saharan?
Yeah, Sub-Saharan.
So you will hear something referred to as a Sub-Saharan ball python. It's a little bit misleading because ball pythons in general are Sub-Saharan, but typically what people are talking about when they say it's a Sub-Saharan is there's a certain locale. Don't ask me the country. I don't know off the top of my head. That, for whatever reason, is probably food related, to be honest. Probably the amount of food and the prey items that they're feeding on would be my guess as to what has caused that. But genetically has just over time gotten to be bigger. So you hear about what's a Sub-Saharan. they're usually referring to it being a larger ball python. So when you see a male light trouser there who's over 3,000 grams, there's a very good chance there's some sub-Saharan running around in there, and he caught that gene where he's just big. He's just a big snake because of that. But more of the morphs that got imported did not get imported from sub-Saharan. So most of your morph genes are not going to be super large snakes, all of that. And people will pay more for a normal sub-Saharan than they will straight up normal because they want that bigger snake. It's still not going to be huge. It's still a ball python. It's not going to get 8, 12 feet long or anything like that. It's just going to be a bigger ball python, especially the females being bigger anyway. So that's what you're hearing about sub-Saharan. The cool thing is, like, a big female like that could typically have could typically have more eggs. So I have heard of some of those people, some sub-Saharan females they use for breeding, where they may get, instead of an average of 6 eggs and a big clutch being 8, 9, or 10 eggs, they're going to average more than that and have a big clutch that's 9, 10, 11, 12 eggs. Where I think our record is like 11 or 10. Yeah, I think sub-Saharan record's like 16, 17. So you can get more eggs out of them. That's why people do really like them. Plus it's one of a very impressive ball python. Can't blame them there. Kurt, any other questions?
Nope.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. That was just a really quick thing on weights, how we weigh our snakes, kind of giving them down size, how they grow year to year. And the big thing I guess I want to put out there when you're doing this is if your snake is eating and it's doing okay and the condition is good, even if the weight isn't there, don't freak out. I mean, they're like people. Like, I guarantee you I weigh more than Kurt. Kurt should not be embarrassed that I weigh more than him. It's actually probably the other way around. I should probably be a little embarrassed that I weigh more than Kurt. But, I shouldn't be embarrassed I weigh more than Kurt. I should be embarrassed at how much more I weigh than Kurt. Maybe that'd be a better way to put it. So don't worry. Don't freak out. It's more about body condition and overall health than it is weight. You can get a ball python overweight. You can do it. It's pretty hard. If you start seeing fat rolls in them, like stuffed sausage fat rolls, and they're not gravid, probably time to put them on a little bit of a diet. But we haven't really experienced that problem here, so it's pretty uncommon. All right, if that's all you got, Kurt, I'm going to hop off here. Thanks for watching, guys. We will catch you next time.